Hello and welcome back to Crypto Toro. I really hope you enjoy this live stream right now. I just started, but I hope you enjoy it during the entire live stream. So let's take a look at Bitcoin and how it is currently performing. And what we are seeing right now immediately is that I opened up the chart compared to Bitcoin on the 4 hour, compared to the US dollar, sorry, on the 4 hourly time frame. And what are we actually looking at? Well, you could say this is a type of accumulation phase where we're currently in right now. You saw that the previous breakout towards the upside out of the, let's take a look. I will draw it once again for you. The head and shoulders pattern that I was talking about yesterday, as you can see over here, did not break out. We were not able to stay above this line over here, and we did not see this actual pattern break out towards the upside, seeing a possible move of approximately, let's take a quick look by placing the measure tool from this point all the way here, a possible move of approximately 15% towards the upside. So this did not happen, did not occur yesterday. And what is actually what we are seeing right now? We are seeing this small accumulation phase going on for a certain period of time so far, and I would like to call this actually a parallel channel, and I will be drawing this as well for you. Sorry. And here we are. Let's place the parallel channel like this and possibly like this. So this is the parallel channel where we're actually inside of right now. We're just trading sideways. This is accumulation phase. I think that we will be seeing a huge potential move towards the upside, especially if we create a second touch point on the horizontal resistance that we are seeing over here. If we have a second touch point there and it breaks once again out towards the downside, I personally think that we will be seeing a type of pattern playing itself out. We will be seeing a sort of, let's take a quick look. We could say that we are making a type of, if we have a second touch point on the upper area of ascending triangle that could break out possibly towards the upside, especially because we have this previous data over here that is telling us that we have a uptrend going on. It is a rather small uptrend, but still the momentum before this trend is towards the upside instead of towards the downside, and this is also a pattern that is more likely to break out towards the upside. So this is my personal opinion on what is possibly going to look like. And otherwise, let's take just a look at this triangle over here. So we are seeing this meant, let's take a look at this very important parallel channel where we're currently accumulating at. So what could possibly happen if we have a breakout outside of this parallel channel? I personally think that we could be seeing a move towards the upside getting created, and if this move towards the upside is created, it could look something like this. And yes, for sure, I personally would like to see a breakout above this horizontal level of resistance, but before the pump towards the upside is created, I hope there will be a retest on top of this previous resistance and finding support on top of it before going up. So that could be possible if we break above this level at $41,047, finding support on top of it, and after that breaking towards the upside. And if we break towards the upside, you are immediately seeing that this is a key level of support and resistance, where I've talked about before previously also. It is the white line over here at $42,898. I personally think this will be a major level of resistance. So if we are able to break above this level, that would mean that Bitcoin is very bullish and will remain very bullish during the upcoming days and weeks. And for sure, as I said before, I personally think that we won't be seeing a huge parabolic phase towards the upside getting started. We firstly will be seeing just accumulation going on, maybe a small breakout, as I said right now, possibly of just a small measurement. I will place a small measurement right away once again to take a look at how much percentages this breakout would be. This is approximate breakout of 10%, and yes, that is not a major move towards the upside. It is a great move if you are interested in leverage trading, and if you would like to trade this move. I am personally waiting for a confirmation of Bitcoin to break out above this horizontal level of resistance that we are seeing over here above where we're currently trading at. And if that happens, I personally think that they will be adding even more to my positions that I placed at approximately, I placed my first long something like here at when it broke above this line. So it was at $35,501, and for sure that is not a real great place to start your long position, because I am someone who mostly wants to wait until you have a confirmation on top of a pattern. But I thought that we wouldn't break underneath this orange line that, as I said before, will be holding strong for Bitcoin for sure. So this is something very important to take a look at. And this orange box, for sure, if we break towards the downside, will still be a major level of resistance. And yes, it could possibly break out towards the downside. It can't go either way, but as I said before, it won't, there's no panic at all if we stay in between these two lines of support and resistance. So if we stay above the orange box and underneath the white line, as I said before, that is just something very important to take a look at. And Crypto Rover is in the chat, so welcome once again, Crypto Rover. I really appreciate you watching this live stream, and shout out to Crypto Rover if you haven't seen his videos. He is a great YouTuber as well. So that is just my personal opinion, that we won't be breaking towards the downside, but if we break towards the downside, this orange box will serve as major support. So further, I would like to enable the Ema Ribbon and take a look at where we're standing right now, and what we're seeing is actually something very interesting playing itself out, and that is that we are seeing Bitcoin right now breaking above the Ema Ribbon. As I said yesterday as well during the live stream, we were rejected multiple times before we were able to get inside of the Ema Ribbon. You saw a rejection before over here and a second rejection here, and we even saw a third and fourth rejection. And right now we are able to stay inside of the Ema Ribbon and even finding support on top of it. And what I personally think is, if the Ema Ribbon will have a momentum switch when the longs take over the shorts, we will see a huge momentum towards the upside getting created. So perfect, this will be a perfect move towards the upside. Sorry, I was just a little bit distracted by the comment from Nike Ninja. So welcome, Nike Ninja, welcome to the stream. I hope you enjoyed the content so far. So this is my opinion on what Bitcoin will be doing so far on the 4-hourly time frame and what the EMA ribbon is looking like. And we will be enabling the RSI just to have an even better look at what is actually going on. So you are seeing here, we have this RSI telling us that we are actually right in the middle of the purple box, and once we are in the middle of the purple area and we are not breaking above the dotted line either on the upper part or on the lower side, it means that we are still steady, and an increase in value will be very likely for Bitcoin to happen, especially because you're seeing here that already we are seeing a upward momentum, a slightly upward momentum on the RSI as well. So this is looking for now good, because we are not expecting anything to happen if we look at the RSI for so far. And if we enable just the MACD before heading towards the daily candles, you are seeing that on the MACD we had almost a crossover during the past couple of hours. We had almost a crossover on the MACD, but you see that there is a lot of upward momentum on Bitcoin because the crossover did not happen on the 4-hourly time frame. And this is something of utmost importance, because this is actually telling us that there are a lot of interest, a lot of momentum towards the upside getting created. And of course, that's also due to the amount of people that are actually getting into Bitcoin right now. And yes, for sure, Bitcoin is looking very strong because it's not got rejected by the EMA ribbon, and it is actually trading on top of the EMA ribbon finding support on top of it. And once the EMA ribbon is below Bitcoin, we will see even more momentum towards the upside getting created. For sure, we will still see a momentum towards the downside on the MACD, but right now there is still upward momentum. The crossover did not happen, so it possibly could be within the next few hours that we will see a huge momentum on Bitcoin towards the upside. And if it breaks above this level of horizontal resistance at $41,047, I think we will potentially go through this major level of resistance at $42,898 and find support on top of it. And that would be just absolutely amazing, because after that move, we will be most certain that Bitcoin will accumulate for a while, but for sure will head further in the future. So this is something important to take a look at. And lastly, I wanted to take a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart and enabling the moving averages. And what we are seeing is that the moving averages are still serving as upper resistance, and also it is serving as resistance underneath the $42,898 level. So yes, for sure, the 200-day moving average will still be a moment of struggle, but I personally think that if we are able to get above the 200-day moving average, we will for sure see even more momentum towards the upside getting created. So let's take a look at what Nike Ninja is saying. Is there a head and shoulders on the 1 hour forming? So let's take a look at the 1 hourly chart compared to Bitcoin, and if we are seeing an inverse head and shoulders playing itself out. Yeah, well, let's take a look. Yes, Mike, this is very well seen, but I personally think, yes, this could possibly be seen as a head and shoulders pattern, but I think we already saw a too big of a pump towards the upside on this particular part to actually create a inverse head and shoulders pattern over here. So that is what I personally think. And let's take a look. You are trying to say this head and shoulders pattern, that's maybe what you are recognizing, but the importance of this normal head and shoulders pattern is that this head and shoulders pattern are most of the time a trend reversal pattern, and they do not tend to be of big significance when they are just after a huge dump and they are not at the top of a, for example, bull market, or at the top of a uptrend. So for now, I personally think that if you are talking about this head and shoulders pattern, it could be possibly going towards the upside. But as I said before, on the 4 hourly time frame, I'm still looking at Bitcoin, and hopefully it will be able to form that ascending triangle on the 4 hourly time frame by having a second, oh, let's take a look, sorry for that, by having a second touch point of this horizontal resistance, going once again back down, finding support on top of this ascending support line, and after that going to retest this horizontal resistance on top once again. But that's just my personal opinion. So I hope I answered your question by looking at the 1 hourly time frame. And for sure, if someone would like me to talk about a specific coin that they have, and if they would like a technical analysis on that, do not forget to ask that in the comment section. And as well, for the people who are liking the content so far, do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification to stay up to date of all the live streams that will be coming during the upcoming days, and also the videos that I will be posting. So that is something I wanted to just shortly talk about. And we will be heading to Ethereum if no one has any type of requests. So Ethereum is looking quite strong as well. We are seeing right now Ethereum is still accumulating over here, and what we are seeing here is something actually more clearly going on. This isn't a, for example, as I showed you before on Bitcoin, it traded way more sideways in between that parallel channel that I draw. And right now what we are seeing here, I personally think, is a type of, you could say maybe a line like this could possibly do so. And this is also a parallel channel towards the upside, but it is way more in an uptrend than Bitcoin, because at Bitcoin you saw that it is mostly a parallel channel during an accumulation phase, and on Ethereum it's actually a parallel channel towards the upside during an uptrend. And that is for sure something very interesting to take a look at, and a possible breakout is very inevitable, especially because if we take a look at Ethereum right now, you are seeing this parallel channel, ascending parallel channel. If Ethereum manages to stay inside of this ascending parallel channel just for a while, it will possibly be a breakout towards the upside, because the overall trend is, as you can see, towards the upside just for the moment. And if we enable the EMA ribbon, what we are seeing is actually something even more interesting than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is right now actually currently trading inside of the EMA ribbon, but Ethereum is actually above the EMA ribbon, and we are seeing that the EMA ribbon is closely to switch over, have a reversal, and that the longs will be taking over the shorts once again. And as we saw in the past on many times, when the longs take over, we will see an upward momentum for sure on the Ethereum chart. So that is something I think is very interesting, that Ethereum is finding support on top of the EMA ribbon instead of major resistance, as we saw before as well on Ethereum and Bitcoin. It was rejected multiple times before being able to get above the EMA ribbon and finding support on top of it. So that is for sure something very interesting to look at. And if we go towards the daily time frame on the Ethereum chart, what we are seeing if we enable the moving averages is that we are finding support. So it is looking way more steady than Bitcoin, because as we saw on Bitcoin is still struggling to find support on top of the moving averages, and it's actually trading below the 200-day moving average. And right now on Ethereum, there's something differently going on. Ethereum was able to find support on top of the 200-day moving average, and is right now currently in an uptrend and is finding support on top of the 50-day moving average on the daily chart. And that is something of utmost importance, because once the moving averages are below Ethereum, we will see a momentum towards the upside for sure. As you could see here, once we tested multiple times the 50-day moving average and the 100 and 200-day moving averages were below us, there was a slight momentum towards the upside created as well. That happened over here. So that's something of utmost importance to take a look at. And I think this is just something I want to point out, how important the moving averages are, because you could see that once Ethereum went all the way down during the downtrend, it found support on top of the 200-day moving average. And that is just actually telling us how important these moving averages are. So once again, welcome Willica to the live stream, and let's take a look at Nike Ninja, who is saying, can you check the MCAR Bitcoin? I will check it in just for a while, so give me a second and I will finish my Ethereum price analysis. So if we go back to the 4-hourly chart, we are seeing this uptrend going on. We are also seeing that right now we are currently on the 4-hourly chart underneath these moving averages. We are finding it quite difficult to we have been rejected already 4 times right here by the 100 and 200-day moving average on the 4-hourly chart. And I personally think that if we see a move once again, it will be able to break above this, not just this major resistance of the moving averages, but as well of this resistance line at $2,912. So that is something very important to take a look at with Ethereum. I will be disabling the moving averages and will be heading further towards the Bitcoin chart. And what we are seeing over here is something very important on Ethereum. That is actually what we're seeing here is of utmost importance, as I told yesterday as well, I thought, because we are right now retesting once again this upward sloping support. This support line was the support line, the previous upward sloping resistance. We broke above the upward sloping resistance line, and right now we are retesting this area. So I personally think this is of utmost importance to this 4-hourly candle stays still above this upward sloping support, especially because this is a support line with utmost significance, because we have already several touch points in the past, as you could see over here. And that means that this will be holding strong just for the moment. So that is personally why I'm looking at this right now very closely. And yes, for sure, if we break below this upward sloping support, we will see a slight momentum towards the downside getting created. But the first major support will be at this level at approximately 0.068 Bitcoin. And yes, I do not know how much that exact price is, but it will be a possible move towards the downside. Let's take a quick look just to measure it like this, of approximately 5%. So that will still be healthy, and we could still see Ethereum going back up, breaking above this upward sloping resistance and finding support on top of it. So that is something I wanted to point out. And as well, let's take a look at the RSI on the 4-hourly time frame compared to Bitcoin. Yes, and we are seeing the RSIs right now. Actually, it got a little bit of difficulty trying to go even further up above the dotted white line on the upper area, and right now we are heading down. So this is also why we are seeing the strength of Ethereum also decreasing at this certain moment, and that is possibly why we are also not able to stay above the upward sloping support line. So where is Ethereum heading to, if you ask me, in the upcoming weeks, especially if we break out of this parallel channel towards the upside? And it is for sure a ascending parallel channel, and not as we saw on Bitcoin, a parallel channel that is just trading horizontally. We would be seeing a possible move towards the upside. Let's measure it over here. So I'm sorry for that. Let's measure it like this. Yes, perfect. And let's say the breakout would be at this certain point. And why am I selecting this point? It's especially because it is a horizontal level of resistance right now, and it will also be a very critical level to break above if we would like to see a pump towards the upside getting created and being able to enter this orange area. That is a major level of support and resistance, and right now it is serving as resistance where we are looking at for the near future, and where Ethereum has to go above if we would like to see an uptrend still going on. So let's take at this possible price action. If we break above this orange box, we will be trading at approximately, let's take a look, $3,644. If we break above the orange box, that will be absolutely great, because if we find support on top of it, and I personally think that it's not a question if we will find support on it, I am absolutely sure that we will be able to find support on top of it, because this is a major level of support and resistance for sure. So this possible move towards the $3,648 is for sure there, but if we see a breakout towards the downside getting created, for example over here, because here we have a major resistance level as well, and if it's not as big as this resistance on the orange box, but it's still a level of resistance, we could see a possible breakout towards the downside, and we will be heading towards the $2,530, and that I think is correctly, if we break out towards the downside, that's a possible price target, especially because you are seeing here that we are seeing support where we got supported at as well previously. So that is just my personal opinion on Ethereum right now, and for sure if we break above this level over here, the orange box in between the $33,435 and the $33,571, it will be an amazing move towards the upside after that. So let's take a look. You wanted to check MKR, so let's take a look at MKR for sure on coin market cap and Maker. So Maker, it has a small market cap. I haven't heard about this coin. I am into the cryptocurrency space, but I must say that I am a huge fan of Cardano, Chainlink, Ethereum, Polkadot, a lot of coins inside of the Polkadot smart chain, but I haven't heard about Maker. So it looks quite good to me. Let's read about this just for a second. So Maker is the governance token of the Maker DAO and Market Protocol, respectively, a decentralized organization and a software platform, both based on the Ethereum blockchain that allows users to issue and manage DAI stablecoin. Okay, this sounds quite good to me. So let's take a look at the past 90 days. And yes, Vilike, we will finally see Ethereum going to the moon party for sure, and I will be there and I won't be missing out either. So last 30 days we are seeing over here a price action. It has been dropping quite far down, but it's still looking overall good. If we look at the past 7 days, we are seeing that we are not able to make. It was quite a few difficult days, especially because we were in a downtrend. So let's just take a look at Maker on trading view. So let's take a look. Maker US dollar and also very important BTC. So here we are, and we will start by looking at it compared to Bitcoin, and if we spot any type of special things. So what I'm seeing over here is that overall it is holding so strong. It is absolutely incredible what type of comeback we are seeing over here. Maker went sharply down towards the downside, but we are seeing a huge V-shaped recovery right now playing itself out on the Bitcoin chart on the 4-hourly time frame, and for sure this is something of utmost importance, and I'm already pumped about this coin just by looking at this chart, how it is performing, how it is holding up compared to Bitcoin. And what we are seeing over here, you could say this is a possible momentum of accumulation right now before heading even further, but I must say that I am quite impressed by its performance so far. So as you can see, the overall trend is towards the upside. This dump towards the downside was significant, but is not as significant as we saw. This previous uptrend was of more significance for the moment, and it was able to jump back up, and that is why I will be placing the Fibonacci retracement over here at approximately the 31 of March, all the way to its all-time high at this level over here. And what we are seeing is that right now we are trading above the 0.236 Fibonacci level, and that is for sure something of utmost importance, because this will serve as major support for the moment compared to Bitcoin. And I must say that this pattern, what we are seeing over here, I might call it even like a bull flag, or it is difficult to say that it is a type of triangle because you don't have enough touch points on the upper area, as you can see over here, to make an actual descending triangle or symmetrical triangle out of this candle chart. So we could be looking at the 2-hourly time frame to recognize a pattern on a lower time frame, but those are not as significant as the higher time frames for sure. And just to let you know, I want to look at this before heading even further, Willika, and I would look at anchor chart right away after it. And what are we seeing over here further? If we enable the Ema Ribbon, we are seeing the shorts were able to have a breakdown towards the downside, but this hard V-shaped recovery showed that there is a lot of strength in the overall market compared to Bitcoin, especially with Maker. And right now we are trading above the Ema Ribbon, finding support on top of it, and because the longs are taking over the shorts, I personally think that we will see a momentum towards the upside for sure getting created. So that is something I wanted to let you know on the Ema Ribbon. It's looking very, very well. And if we enable the daily time frame and we place the moving averages, because the moving averages are of utmost importance here, you can see that right away, once it broke down towards the downside, it found support on top of the 200 and 100-day moving average, this wick of the candle, and the overall trend found support on top of the 50-day moving average, and we are trading far above the moving averages right now. So this is something in particular that's looking very well for Maker, and I think these levels will also serve as support if it decides to break towards the downside. So it will, if it decides to break towards the downside and during the upcoming hours, I personally think that the 0.382 level will be a great level to take a look at, to monitor closely, because that will be a major level of support, not just because it is the 0.382, the golden pocket entry on the Fibonacci chart, but also because you could see already over here it served as major resistance here and as well as resistance over here. So I think personally that will be holding strong if a breakout towards the downside occurs on the Maker chart compared to Bitcoin. So let's take a look at the Maker chart on the compared to the US dollar chart. And before heading further with the daily time frame, you are seeing over here once again actually exactly the same happening on the US dollar chart, and you can see that the overall trend towards the downside here is a little bit heavier than what we saw previously compared to Bitcoin, but still because it's holding so strong compared to Bitcoin, I personally think that we will see a huge momentum towards the upside getting created. So let's take a look at this overall trend. You could say that the downtrend is still not broken on the US dollar chart, especially if you place a line like this. You could be possibly placing it like this. I will be even making it a bit longer to just start from the beginning of the trend, and you are seeing that right now we are trading underneath this downward sloping resistance line and finding it quite difficult to break above it. So it could be possible that Maker will get rejected once again before retesting this downward sloping resistance, but it tested this downward sloping resistance line many times, so this will be actually quite difficult to break above, especially because how more touch points there are on a particular trend, how more significant it will be. So this downward sloping resistance is quite huge, and that's why we have to take a look at if it will be able to break out towards the upside instead of towards the downside. And let's enable the RSI to take a look if we are spotting any type of bearish or bullish divergence, and what we are seeing is actually nothing out of the ordinary playing itself out. We are seeing that a lower high is getting created, but also a lower high on the RSI, and the RSI is actually right in the middle of the purple area, and once it is in the middle of the purple area, it could be going either way, towards the upside or towards the downside. It is only of utmost importance when it breaks above the dotted line on the upper or lower area, when you could see a momentum towards the downside or upside getting created. So right now the RSI is looking so far so good, and it could be telling us that if Maker has enough strength, it will break above this downward sloping resistance, and that is something of major importance so far. Let's place lastly to look at Maker. For now, let's take a look at the MACD before heading further, and what you're seeing here is that currently we are having a lot of trouble with the MACD. We are seeing a huge momentum towards the upside previously during the past couple of days, and right now the MACD has almost reached a crossover, so this could be going either way. As we saw on the Bitcoin chart as well, the MACD is actually almost touched, and after that the uptrend still proceeded, but this could also be happening right now. If the MACD does not have a crossover, there will be even more momentum towards the downside getting created, and if this doesn't happen, the MACD crossover, we will for sure see a rejection of this downward sloping resistance line. But personally, I think that it's very likely to actually have a crossover on the MACD, and if this happens, for sure there will be enough momentum to break above this downward sloping resistance line, finding support on top of it, and maybe after that even breaking further out towards the upside. And where could we possibly see Maker going if it breaks out towards the upside? Right now we are not spotting any type of pattern for this current moment, But if it breaks towards the upside, we could be seeing a move getting created, and I will be selecting the wick of the all-time high towards this lower part over here to see where we're currently trading at, because we are in this small downtrend, and that is why I would like to recognize where we could be heading towards. And you're seeing right now we are above the golden pocket entry level that will serve as major support, but as well this downward sloping resistance is still something you have to take in account. So if we go towards the upside after breaking above this downward sloping resistance line, finding support on top of it, and also finding support on top of the 0.382 level of Fibonacci, I think a possible move above the 0.5 level will be inevitable after a small period of accumulation, and then we will see maker trading at approximately, let's take a look, $4,197. So that is for now something I wanted to let you know. I set to, let's take a look, I set to Nike Ninja that I wanted to take a look at the 2-hourly time frame as well on the lower time frame, and to see if we recognize a pattern over there. And if we look a little bit more closely, you are seeing that a possible breakout is quite there on the 1-hourly time frame, especially if you take a look at it like this way. It might be possible that we are seeing a rejection right now of this downward sloping resistance, but this horizontal level of support has been tested already several times. Yes, we broke once below it, but because we had just a short moment that we were below this horizontal level of support, and we broke immediately above this level and found support on top of it, that is why I'm still saying this pattern is viable. So we also tested these downward sloping resistance actually already for the 4th time now, and if we break above it, we could see a possible move towards the upside getting created. And if you take a look at where it will possibly be heading towards, if the breakout happens here, it will be heading towards the $4,426, but because there is not a lot of support and resistance at that particular level, I personally think that we will be seeing it go once back down and finding support on the 0.5 Fibonacci level, as I said before. And if the breakout happens even further down below, it is for sure going to be the 0.5 level where we will be finding support on. So that is just for now what I wanted to take a look at, and I really hope that Nike Ninja, that you enjoyed the content so far. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below in the comment section. So finally, Ethereum, your thoughts on Anchor chart. So let's take a look at Anchor. Let's take a look at Anchor just as well on CoinMarketCap. So I actually don't know how to pronounce this name. I think it's quite difficult. Anchor, or yeah, Anchor, I might think. So you can see past 3 months we saw an uptrend. We are right now seeing this small downtrend towards the downside. And what I think personally is great about Anchor is that it still has a small market cap, but it is not a coin that is so far away. It is actually at rank 99, and that is something in particular where I am just getting a lot of goosebumps from, because if you have a market cap of just 800 million and you are rank 100, I think that it is very likely that this will become a bigger coin with a much bigger market cap, and once the market cap goes up, for sure we will see a price action as well going towards the upside. So let's take a look for the people that do not know Anchor. Anchor originates as a solution to utilize shared resources in order to provide easy and affordable blockchain node hosting solutions. It was founded in November 2017, and during this time on the market, it has built a marketplace for container-based cloud services through the usage of shared resources. So this is something I think is just really great, especially because it allows to have affordable yeah, just allowed for more affordable transactions. And as well, this is just the type of cryptocurrency that you would like to invest in. That's of course just my personal opinion. For sure, Maker, what we were seeing before, was also still holding so strong that I personally think that it is just a great asset to take a look at. I haven't heard about it yet, but I will sure do my due diligence tomorrow, because I'm pumped about how strong it's actually holding compared to Bitcoin. So that is, you always want to be there if there is a pump towards the upside, and we are for sure going to see a pump towards the upside on the Maker chart. So let's go at Anchor compared to Bitcoin, and also Anchor compared to the US dollar. Oh, I removed the R. So Anchor compared to the US dollar, and let's take a look over here. So before heading to the Anchor chart, I wanted to show you something before that, and that is actually that if you are interested in if you're interested in trading cryptocurrencies, especially leverage trading, but also spot trading is possible. Down below in the description, you will find these top 4 leverage trading exchanges where you can earn up to 2,000 deposit bonus on Femex, and also up to $1,610 deposit bonus on Bybit for new users if you use the description link down below. And you will be also supporting the channel by doing so. And also on Gate.io, that's a great platform with a lot of potential, and I must say they have over 700 types of cryptocurrencies that you can buy over there. It's easy to use, and I think it's just, my personal opinion is that Gate.io has a lot of potential to become bigger during the upcoming years. So let's take a look at the price action of Anchor compared to Bitcoin. And what we are seeing over here is, as well, it's quite well holding itself strong right now compared to Bitcoin. You are seeing over here, if I draw a parallel channel, you will see it right away that we are still trading inside of a parallel channel. Just give me 1 second to draw this. Yes, something like this is probably the best way possible. And if we will be able to make it a slightly bit longer, what we are seeing is actually this parallel channel where we're trading inside of. And yes, it is not completely there yet, because we are only tested the upper horizontal level of resistance twice, and we tested the horizontal level of support underneath just 3 times over here, and we had a few wicks towards the downside that broke below this level. But still, I think this is the important thing to look at, because this parallel channel is actually going to tell us, once it breaks above this horizontal level of resistance at this certain part over here, we will see a potential move towards the upside, a huge move towards the upside get created actually. So that is something you won't like to miss out on. So for now on, if we zoom in just a little bit more closely, we are seeing a type of, I would say, it is in the 2-hourly time frame. I will take a look at the 4-hourly time frame just to make sure we spot it right. And Nike Ninja, thank you very much for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed the content. And yes, there are lower bottoms being created, not completely. There are higher bottoms being created actually, because if you take a look at the overall trend, you are seeing that if you do not count the wick, this is a higher low than this is a higher low than the previous higher low, and this is an even higher low than this higher low. So you could be drawing a trend line just like this, and you could see that we are still inside of a possible uptrend. So and it is just, I think personally, still looking very good. We are seeing higher lows getting created, and that is something for sure important for now. So I have one question of Dr. Aveltira, sir, your Discord active. Tried to join several times, but I couldn't find any messages. Yes, we are currently having quite a few troubles with the Discord server, but it should be active. You are able to join the server, but we do not have a big community yet. And what I wanted to point out is, if you enter the Discord server of CryptoToro, you will be getting premium membership right away for the entire time you stay there, because after a few months it will be a place where starting from next week, I will be placing trading calls inside of the Discord server, and you will be given premium access to the Discord server for sure. So you can join the Discord server. There are not messages yet because we're still struggling with a few problems, technical problems, malfunctions on the Discord server, but it should be working for sure. And if you join it, you will get premium membership right away. You can join the Discord server by going down below to the description and selecting this link over here. So Anchor is creating higher lows for sure. It's still inside of this parallel channel. After the dump, we saw a huge recovery, as you could see over here. It's still in a small downtrend, but I think personally that it is holding up super strong for now. And actually, if we stay above this trend line, still creating even more higher lows, we will for sure see a breakout above this resistance line on top, and that is something very good to take a look at. So this is compared to Bitcoin. What I wanted to show you as well compared to Bitcoin is for sure the moving averages on the daily time frame, because that is something I think of utmost importance. And what we are seeing is, once we break out towards the lower area below the horizontal level of support, we are right away getting supported on the wicks by the 100-day moving average over here, also by the 50-day moving average over here. And once we broke down below the horizontal level of resistance at this certain point, we were just far above the moving averages. So that is looking quite good for now, for sure. And we are also looking over here at where we're currently trading at, and where we're currently trading at, we are finding support on top of the 50-day moving average. That is for sure a major level of support, and I think it will hold strong for now, especially because you're seeing that we are also finding support on top of this ascending support line, where we have already seen several touch points before by creating higher lows. So that is just for now. Let's take a look at where we're standing on the US dollar chart. You are seeing we are being supported several times by the 200-day moving average once the wicks broke towards the downside. Also, right now we are currently underneath the 100-day moving average. We are finding it quite hard to break above the 100-day moving average. Is serving as current resistance, but once we break above it, and it will be served as support, it will be a major level of support, and a momentum towards the upside will be for sure inevitable. So I will be disabling the moving averages. I will be going towards the 4-hourly chart, and I will be enabling the Fibonacci levels. Sorry for that, just a small gap. So let's take a look at this. I will be placing it from swing high towards swing low to take a look at the possible momentum towards the upside, and also to take at the extensions levels on the upper area if we head towards even higher phases further on. So let's take a look over here how it's looking like. We are right now currently trading underneath not just the moving averages as I showed you before, but also underneath the golden pocket entry at 0.382. And I personally think it's a major level of resistance, especially because you could see previously we got supported over here, and over here we had quite a while been trading on top or underneath the Fibonacci level. This Fibonacci level is actually telling me that it could be quite a heavy level of support and resistance, but as well the 0.236 Fibonacci is still holding strong as a major level of support. So that is something very great to take a look at. Also, I will be enabling the Ema Ribbon, and what we are seeing is actually right away that we are not just only having struggled with the moving averages right on top of the anchor chart, but also the EMA ribbon is actually serving as a major resistance level. And you could see that also previously we were multiple times rejected by the moving averages once we tried to go above the moving average. And even at this certain point in time, when we broke above the moving average, we broke right away down below the moving average, and that is something you will have to take a look at quite closely. For sure, right now for Anchor, I personally think that it could be heading either way. We could be seeing a move towards the downside, finding support on the 0.236 level, but it could also be heading towards the upside. So overall, compared to Bitcoin, we are seeing an uptrend getting created. We are still inside of the parallel channel, and the moving averages are still holding up strong on the anchor chart. And compared to the US dollar, I personally think that it could still go either way just for the moment. And I think for now, a major level where you would like to take a look at closely is the 0.382 Fibonacci level at approximately $12. Yes. So let's take a look. Willeke and Night Ninja, you would like me to take a look at Litecoin and Polkadot, and I will be taking a look at one of them before ending this live stream. And maybe if you smash up those likes on the live stream, I will be giving as well a Polkadot technical analysis. But for people who joined us right now, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you think the information we are giving is useful for sure. So let's take a look at Litecoin, because that was the first request that we were seeing, and we are now looking at Litecoin compared to Bitcoin. And what you can see over here is we broke down below very hard. We are finding it quite difficult to maintain the strength compared to Bitcoin. We saw this huge drop towards the downside, and right now we are seeing this V-shaped recovery on Litecoin, and that is something that is telling me that there is still a lot of upward momentum on the Litecoin chart. And I will be enabling the RSI to take a look at where we are standing right now. And what I'm seeing right away is that we are currently in this small uptrend from this V-shaped recovery, but over here on the RSI we are heading to break out above the dotted line. And once we break above the dotted line, we will for sure see a reversal towards the downside, and as well a price action towards the downside getting started. So that is something to monitor closely, but for the moment we still have enough momentum towards the upside to trade during the upcoming hours still towards the upside instead of towards the downside. As well, we are right now breaking above this level of resistance and support. We are finding support on top of it, and I personally think that if we are not able to break above this major level of resistance that we are seeing over here, where we were not able to break above either at this particular part, it still won't matter, because I personally think that we will be finding support on top of the support where we are looking at right now. So that's for sure something you would like to take a close look at. And if we enable the MACD, that will also be telling us what will possibly happen. And as well on the MACD, we saw momentum towards the upside previously before we look at where we're currently standing at. And what I personally think is that if a MACD crossover happens, we will see momentum towards the downside getting created. It still will take a few hours before this crossover happens, but once this crossover happens, we will for sure see momentum towards the downside getting created. If the MACD won't be having a crossover, it is possible that we will see Litecoin break above this level of horizontal resistance over here. So perfectly. So this is something I wanted to show you. Compared to Bitcoin, it looks like we are going to retest this level of support. Of course, that is my personal opinion, but for sure it could be heading either ways. But the indicators are telling me that it is quite possible that we won't be going further up before having a small accumulation at this particular part. And compared to the US dollar, what are we seeing over here? We saw this inverse head and shoulders pattern that actually showed us that we're seeing a trend reversal getting started. We are right now seeing a trend reversal for sure getting started. I will be drawing the inverse head and shoulders as well for you. Very sorry. So let's take a look. It is just a really small inverse head and shoulders. I will be heading towards the 2 hourly time frame to give you a better look at this inverse head and shoulders pattern and what you are seeing over here on the Litecoin chart. So as I said before, this inverse head and shoulders was actually telling us that we were reaching the bottom and a trend reversal was getting started on the Litecoin chart. And right now we broke above this horizontal level of resistance over here, and a possible momentum towards the upside will be created for sure. It also has to be in combination with the strength compared to Bitcoin holding strong and not a momentum towards the downside getting started. But for now, we are breaking above this neckline of the symmetrical this inverse head and shoulders pattern, sorry for that, and a possible move towards the upside is inevitable. So what are we going to see during the upcoming days? Even if we see a breakout towards the downside, even if we see a momentum towards the downside getting started compared to Bitcoin, it is quite likely that we will be finding support on top of this level at approximately $194, and that is just absolutely amazing. I think it will be a great level to find a moment of accumulation before heading even further up. But this breakout towards the upside eventually will be leading to a move towards the upside at approximately $245 and maybe even breaking above this upward sloping resistance line and finding support on top of it. And as you could see previously, it is a major level of resistance because we have already seen several touch points at this upward sloping support line that is right now currently seen as resistance. So this is just for now what we're seeing on the Litecoin chart. Also, I will like to enable the moving averages and the 200 and the EMA ribbon. And what we're seeing is that right now on the compared to the US dollar chart, for the first time in after quite a long time, Litecoin was not rejected by the EMA ribbon. It did not serve as overhead resistance, but is right now serving as support. And that is personally why I also think that if we see on the Bitcoin chart, on the Litecoin compared to Bitcoin chart, Litecoin losing momentum and creating momentum towards the downside instead of towards the upside, we will still be able to find support on top of the EMA ribbon and on top of this level of support at $194. And if we take a look at the daily chart and we disable the EMA ribbon and enable the moving averages, we are also right on top of the 200-day moving average, and that also will be serving as a major level of support. So for right now, I personally think that Litecoin will trade sideways for a while in between the $194 and the $221, but for sure we'll find support on top of the $194. So this is Litecoin so far. I hope you enjoyed the content, and if you would like to look at something in particular specific about Litecoin, don't hesitate to ask and place it down below in the comments. So, as I said before, can you show also the volume? So before heading towards, for sure I will be liking to show you the volume on Litecoin Willeke, no problem. I will be enable the volume over here, and what you're seeing is actually something very important. If you are not aware, the volume is something very important because what is of utmost important with volume is actually that if the trend is towards the upside, you would like to see the volume also going up. If the trend is towards the downside, you would like to see the volume actually going down. And what we saw previously over here is that the momentum was towards the downside, but the volume still was very low. So it was not a confirmation. This happened due to the crash of Bitcoin. The price action of Litecoin went towards the downside, but you could see that it was not due to the volume of Litecoin. Just at this particular pace, when it started to drop even further down, at that certain point you saw the volume increasing, and that actually confirmed that people were selling their Litecoin at that particular point in time. And right now we are seeing a small uptrend, but we are not seeing enough momentum to actually confirm this trend towards the upside. And what we are waiting for is actually more momentum towards the upside, confirming that we are seeing this uptrend getting started. So that is just the volume so far. Let's take a look at Polkadot. As Nike Ninja requested, and here we are, Polkadot compared to the US dollar, but I will be starting by taking a look at the Polkadot compared to Bitcoin chart on the 4-hourly time frame. And what are we seeing over here? Oh, sorry for that. Let's take a quick look. We were seeing over here this breakout possibly towards the upside. When I said this was especially because I saw this ascending triangle getting created. Right now we were almost able to break above this horizontal level of resistance, but we went straight down below. And yes, this could be a confirmation by finding support on top of it, but we are actually still trading slightly underneath it, or right on top of this ascending triangle and on top of this horizontal level of resistance. So personally, I think if this 4-hourly candle closes above this horizontal level of resistance and finds support on top of it, that will be a confirmation of Polkadot that is breaking out of this ascending triangle compared to Bitcoin, and the possible move towards the upside will be something like this. As you could see, I already measured it previously, and that is a possible move of 16% towards the upside. For sure, if this move happens on the Polkadot compared to Bitcoin chart, we will see a major move as well on the price action of Polkadot. But what I think is of utmost importance is that we will see Polkadot go back up, break through this ascending resistance and finding support on top of it, because this is a major level of support and resistance. And if we are able to find support on top of this ascending resistance line, that would be very significant for Polkadot, because after that a confirmation of an uptrend will get started. For sure, this pattern could break out either ways, also towards the downside, and especially because it is a ascending triangle, I personally think that it is more likely to break out towards the upside. But for sure, because previously to this pattern that we are seeing right now, we saw this huge momentum towards the downside getting created, and that could be very interesting because the downward momentum towards the downside will have in effect a lot of influence on what it possibly could do. So if this breakouts towards the downside, we still will see that 15% move, and we will be trading at approximately above the level where we currently found support on as well. So that would mean that we might be making a double bottom, for example, instead of a ascending triangle and breaking out towards the upside before heading further. Or we could be seeing an inverse head and shoulders pattern if this breakout towards the downside is even further than the measurement I made. So this is just compared to Bitcoin and how it's looking right now. You can see as well, if we take a look at the volume is actually not confirming this uptrend. We are not seeing a massive amount of volume that is actually telling us that people are actually buying Polkadot right now compared to Bitcoin, but for sure the previous price action was actually very well seen. You could see that there was a huge of momentum towards the downside, and that was actually what we saw as well on the chart. We saw momentum towards the downside getting created, so that is just confirming the trend for sure. Let's take a look a little bit further. So this is just how it looks right now. I will be removing these lines once I go right now to take a look at the Polkadot on the daily candles compared to Bitcoin. I will be enabling the moving averages, and what we are seeing over here is that we are finding overhead resistance of the 100-day and 50-day moving average, but we are also on top of the 200-day moving averages that is currently acting as support. And as long as we are trading above the 200-day moving average, and as you can see, the drop was also supported by the 200-day moving average, or right on top of the 200-day moving average, I still think this is still a very healthy setback, and it's just a matter of time before we head even further up. So if we break towards the downside, the 200-day moving average will also serve as major resistance on the daily time frame. So let's take a look at Polkadot compared to the US dollar. I move this? Where is it? There it is, perfectly. And over here I will enable the moving averages as well. What we're seeing here is that we are currently trading. I personally think it's quite difficult to see the red line of the moving average, but I will be placing it like this because I can see it a little bit better. And we are currently trading underneath the moving averages on the daily chart compared to the US dollar. And this is something very important, because if we do not break above the 200-day moving average and find support on top of it, that could be a potential resistance that will be able to break out towards the downside instead of towards the upside, as I said before. So for sure, very important to break above the 200-day moving average on the daily chart. And I will be heading towards the 4-hourly chart to take a look if any type of patterns is playing itself out. So we are seeing over here on the Polkadot chart, we are currently in between the $21 and $24. We are currently trading actually underneath the $24.58 resistance level, and I personally think this is a level of major resistance. We saw that we were rejected before at this particular resistance, and we have to break above it before heading even further, especially if we would like to keep this uptrend compared to the US dollar and start a parallel channel towards the upside. We have to see Polkadot break out above the $24.58 level. So just to take a look at the EMA ribbon and what is actually telling us, it is for the first time that Polkadot is able to even not only enter the EMA ribbon, but to stay inside of the EMA ribbon and finding support inside of the EMA ribbon instead of overhead resistance. But as you can see, the EMA ribbon is still quite big. It is not very narrow yet, and that is not telling us that there will be a momentum switch very soon happening. So the EMA ribbon can still reject Polkadot towards the downside, and that is something I would like to monitor closely, because I personally think that Polkadot is right now not looking as strong, because we are seeing on the daily chart, for example, the moving average is right above serving as resistance, and we are also inside of the EMA ribbon, and it could actually reject us and we could actually not be finding support on top of it. So this is something very important to take a close look at. So I will be removing this uptrend line, because if Polkadot breaks out towards the downside, I personally think it is of major importance to stay above this downward sloping support line and finding support on top of it, especially because we saw that this was the trend line towards the downside, and if we find support on top of it, it would very clearly mean that a trend reversal will get started. And as well, we will be seeing a double bottom pattern playing itself out, or a W as you might call it as well. So that is of utmost importance for sure. And Polkadot is not holding quite strong right now, but I personally think it will for sure in the upcoming days see a pullback towards the downside, and after that we will see a massive recovery of Polkadot. So if we are taking a look at Polkadot further, you could be seeing, just for this moment, to measure the possible breakout towards the either up or downside, we could be placing this like this, for example, and this over here like this, creating a ascending triangle. And why is this of utmost importance? Because this could possibly break out towards the either up or towards the downside, and I personally think if we break out towards the downside of this ascending triangle, I think this pattern is not as good as it could be, because as I said before, you want to recognize a pattern with several touch points on the either horizontal resistance but as well on the ascending support line. So that is very important. And we look at the fundamentals are good. Yes, the fundamentals are of Polkadot, sorry, are very good. And I'm not saying that I'm not bullish on Polkadot, but I'm very bullish on Polkadot on the long term. But I think personally that Polkadot right now is not looking as strong as it could be looking. So if we take a look at this possible breakout towards the upside, it will be a breakout of approximately, let's take a look, 35%. That's a major breakout towards the upside, but we are seeing a major level of overhead resistance over here. That's the orange box that you're seeing, and I think that if a breakout towards the upside will be created, that we will get rejected by this level of resistance, and we will be heading back down towards this level to find support either on top of the $30 level or on top of the $28.75 level. So that is something I personally think that could happen if we break out towards the upside. But if we break out towards the downside, for example here, we will see as well a 35% move towards the downside getting created, and Polkadot will be heading to the $14.62 level. But as I said before, I think it's of major importance that Polkadot stays above the downward sloping support, so the confirmation of a trend reversal will be shown. So this is of utmost importance to see Polkadot finding support on top of this downward sloping support line. So this is for sure where I will be heading towards, and that is at approximately $17.25. So that is great to take a look at, and I think that will be possibly serve as major support as well. So that is what I wanted to show you on the Polkadot chart. I really hope you are enjoying the show so far. And let's take a look at some questions in the comment section. So we have Willike once again saying, when do you expect the alts rally, Moon? Before or after the Bitcoin dump? So yes, I think it will depend on which type of cryptocurrency you are looking at. If you're looking at decentralized finance, they are still holding up very strong compared to Bitcoin. If you, for example, look at several coins, they are still looking very great. I think decentralized finance could be breaking out before Bitcoin, and other coins will be waiting until Bitcoin breaks out. And one of those coins, for example, is Polkadot. That is, of course, my personal opinion. You have to do your own due diligence, but I think my personal opinion is that if we see a breakout on Polkadot, it will be after Bitcoin performs not towards the moon, but if Bitcoin goes towards the upside and not towards the downside, or if it trades sideways, it might also be possible for Polkadot and other types of coins to gain at that moment. But if Bitcoin goes further down, I think not a lot of coins will be able to stay strong. But for sure, Bitcoin is looking super good right now, and I personally think that we will see a move towards the upside getting created. But for example, a coin that I personally think that will be heading towards the moon before Bitcoin does so is for sure Matic. Matic will be going up and showing us what crypto is all about. It is about creating higher highs every time, and Matic will do so for sure. So the Matic chart is holding strong compared to Bitcoin. It's looking great, and I'm personally waiting for Matic to retest, as I said previously as well, this ascending support line to enter my position over there. So Matic for sure will be going to the moon before Bitcoin does so, and that's for sure my personal opinion, but you could do your own due diligence on Matic and see how good their fundamentals are and how good their project is overall. So I wanted to talk about Polkadot. I hope I answered the questions you wanted me to answer, and otherwise I will be ending this live stream. But before I do so, do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you liked the content on this channel, and also join our Discord server where you'll be given premium membership right away. So thank you very much for watching this live stream, and if you have and if you want to start trading cryptocurrencies, don't forget to use the links down below where you can earn up to $2,000 deposit bonus on Femex and up to $1,610 deposit bonus on Bybit. And Gate.io is as well a very great platform with more than 733 different types of cryptocurrency. So right away, I wanted to wish you a pleasant day for now. So bye bye and have a nice day.